592, just joshing. So Jane is back, but this time,
Hi.
last time she was here, this was an audio show. We just hung out for hours on end. I don't know how long we're hanging out tonight, but a lot has changed for both of us. Number one, this is now a video show, right? Which is something you do on a regular basis now yourself.
Yeah, I've done.
So
Yeah,
I actually asked
every
this.
Saturday.
So how did they rope you into that?
Well, the first time I was on as a guest, and it was the first time I had been on, a video camera since, I think college, when I was actually in video and television communications classes.
Yeah.
So, and I got on the radio for the first time and I froze. So I was like, ugh. You don't ever do that. I think it was being young and
So
whatever.
One of my favorite little stories, one of my favorite guests, I'm going to throw her under the bus here a little bit because I still think it's a hilarious story. Back when the show was just an audio, or it was early on. So I figured it'd be cool to do an interview with a bookstore. And at the time, I didn't know it's Sarah Johnson as a writer, but as just a book event person. So I bring this recorder in to record. She looks at it like as if this is this foreign alien thing. Like, what am I supposed to do with it? And it was absolutely hilarious because it was like, it's like, and I think the exact thing I said was, Sarah, they can't hear you. This is audio. They can't see you.
Well, it doesn't matter when you have a microphone in front of your face. As I found out when I went on to do the news, nothing came out of my mouth. I was in the thing, it went on air, and, and that was that.
I don't remember how to speak because I'm like, what am I doing here?
Pretty much. It happened on the radio at a Hartford station when I was interning. They put me on and I froze. I'm like, I should not be in front of a camera. I can stick a microphone in anybody's face and ask questions from behind the scenes, but not in front of it. So. Well, that's why I'm a business analyst now.
Same thing.
I went one way, I went the other way.
Yeah, it's like, what do you feel about this? Right?
Yep,
I don't know what I'm doing. What's this thing you got in front of me? I don't know.
It's like being so after going on the first time on Spilling Ink, it was and my computer didn't work, so I had to hold my phone and do the whole thing from my phone. And I was doing it with the Christmas tree in front and back of me. It was really kind of cheesy. But I was like, oh, that was fun. They said, well, you can come back anytime. And I said, I'd love to. I just have to get a computer that works with it. So I think they were looking a little bit later. Katie had said something to me because Katie and I have known each other for years through the writing communities. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come on as your guest, pseudo regular. And then it just went from there, and I'm enjoying it. I still haven't been allowed to push the button because I don't know how to get in and do that. So I have to learn that. So if Katie's not out there, I've got to be able to run the show. That would be very helpful for her.
I can just see this now.
Yes.
I could literally just see this now. Katie goes, I need a day off. Right?
Yep.
Right. I need a day off, and you run the show. And Katie, here's a day later. What happened to the show?
You didn't send me the instructions.
Yes. Why is Jane crying in the corner?
Yeah.
Why is she crying?
And it's really funny. I know it's really funny considering I am a communications major. I've been in a television studios, but to come and what are the things I need? What are the buttons I need to press on this? Yes, this is truly gray. This is my gray hair. I'm old, so.
Okay, well.
You don't know where to go with that.
We just went from, I don't know, television to I am not old. It's like, what am I supposed to say there? Like, seriously. Like, what am I supposed to say?
We didn't have computers when we were doing the television show. We had tapes. We actually had to change tapes.
Like, wow. Like,
yes. I'm multi-talented.
It's like, you literally gave me, like, it's seriously, age is like a loaded gun when someone's giving. I'm old. It's like, I don't know what to do now because like, what doesn't get me shot? Like it's not even like it's like I have a response ready, but like that's not what we're thinking about. It's like consequences of saying the thing, right? That's it. Like that's literally like it's going in the guy's head. Does it end well for me? No.
Sorry. Well, I did say to my, she's 82 today, my 82-year-old mother-in-law, age is just in your head. It's only it's that. It's except when you try to do something your body says no to.
That might be all true.
Yes.
I had a guest on Friday. We were drawing together.
Yeah.
And she's younger than me, and she saw white hairs coming, and she freaked out at 25. So I as a personal, just here's the thing. I don't know. I'm not like, I'm pretty empathic. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know where you're at when it comes to coming to grips with your mortality. I don't know the answer to that question. So if I've come to grips with my mortality, yeah. I have, right? And the thing is, I also don't want to expedite the process in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And right, so I'm going to be like, this is the thing. Yes, I know intellectually that age is a number. Also, though, that doesn't, just because that's an intellectual truth, it doesn't mean that's the thing that people hold dear when you mention this to them. So it's like when you went, I don't know what I'm doing on the buttons, and then you go to I'm old, it's like I don't know where to go from here because you're pretty chill, but you still might, like, seriously, you raised 18 kids. You could probably kill me in your sleep and I wouldn't even notice.
2 children.
Oh, sorry, wrong person.
Yeah, no, 2 children.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to confuse with somebody else there. Yeah, no. 2 kids?
Yes.
2 kids?
Yep.
Yeah, you know?
Yep. Yeah, a daughter.
So you kill me in your sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. See, I don't underestimate that. So I'm just like, at this point in my life, it's like,
I can't follow that up with anything because I'm going to get screwed either way. Yes! And at this point in my life, I'm like, I don't care.
That's good. I don't know that.
Because I've gotten past all that.
Yeah,
and I've got all that instead of dying.
I don't know you well enough to know that.
That's okay, Josh. I'm real easygoing. I'm not sure what you said.
You are. But. Yeah.
I do have a dark side. It wouldn't come out here, though.
You never know.
You invited me on, so I will Be polite, except when I say I'm old.
That's fine. Now I know you're good with it. I can follow up. But when you first
Yes.
said it, was like, what do I do?
I'm sorry I put you in that position, but
Yeah.
what?
Again, I am looking at this from my own survival point of view,
Yes.
like my own survivability, because, like, again, it's not that you can't follow up; it's the consequences to following up. Like I am old / I'm not sure how wise I am, but I am just wise enough to know now.
Yes.
That there are consequences sometimes. Actually, there's consequences to everything.
Mm-hmm.
The question is it worth it? Right? Sometimes the answer is yes.
True.
Sometimes the answer is no. So, I mean, you got to make those decisions on your own. And that's what I'm doing, basically, is yes. I've made that decision on my own. Like, I don't want to. Why take that leap of faith? Because you might just go. This is the final episode of just joshing.
No.
We get to inform you that this is it. No, I'm not. But, so that was it. That was an introduction. Let me tell you, that was an introduction. Are you all the nerves gone? Are you feeling good now?
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been doing spelling for what, 2 years now? I think maybe a little longer. I don't know, but I'm very comfortable in front of the camera, except when I have to read scripts. Then it's just I have to take after take after take, and it's just like, oh.
That's different. That's a different environment, because you're not. So when you're looking at takes, they're looking for a very specific. They're looking for a very specific way of doing it. A good director can help with that to some degree, but when you get right down to it, it's like you have to go through the motions, and also shit happens.
Yeah.
Even on a take, like when you go live, the beautiful thing about going live is, when you say live, there's a certain degree of organic feeling that you can get away with. But the expectations when you're filming something are very different. And so you want to create that picture perfect, polished result. You can't do that. There's that moment, it's like, and action. The microphone's there. It's like, holy shit, I lost my mind.
You have to freeze.
I lost my mind. Does happen, right? I mean, sometimes the brain farts, like legit brain farts. Sometimes are things that that's where we go.
Oh yeah, I had to do that recently, and I had the nice script written out for what I wanted to say, and my work computer camera wasn't working, so I had to use my home computer, and I couldn't read my script.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I didn't memorize it. And it was for work, so it was just like, oh, okay.
Like legit, it happens. Like it totally does. Like it's one of those things where you recognize and realize that things are in a constant state of flux. And like we're doing a live show here. The advantage for me doing a live show is I have the advantage of, like, I can screw up, and that's actually part of the show. Like, there's no mistakes on a live show. It's contrary to, like, and speaking of, she just disappeared. As to why she disappeared, I do not know. And now I have to improvise. We're going to the YMCA. We're going to the YMCA. I don't know. I don't know what just happened there. I'm going to go back in and see what's going on. But anyways, as I just said there, I'm kind of going for an anchor job. And because I'm going for an anchor job, it's kind of really cool. And you have to kind of just roll with the flow here. I gotta decide which episodes I'm going to do here. Hold on a sec here. As we hopefully comes better. We're going to the YMCA. YMCA.
I barely did. I barely didn't plug my computer in. See, I'm old.
Now I can respond. It's like, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. I got everything set up. I got props. I got things, and I didn't plug in my computer.
So yeah, because I've had to force the improvise to do a really, really bad version of Men at Work.
Yes, I was listening to that when I came in. But thank you.
Yes.
And it's live. This is what happens on live shows.
Absolutely. Anything, and this is so perfect. I can't actually not like even in the audio, I'm gonna be like, yes, folks, you completely disconnected while we're going through it. So it's just like,
cheers.
Yes. Now,
I'm like, what happened? I'm like, oh.
Ironically, when I meant the nerves are gone, I meant nervous on being on this show. Because I actually got a sense of nerves a little bit when we started. It's like, oh wow, I'm on the other end. And it's been a little while since I've been on the other end of this, and I'm like,
yeah, it is. And I don't know what you're going to ask me, so I'm like,
I don't know what I'm going to ask you either. It's just one of those things. I am just having a conversation with a friend, right? And that's the plan. And biggest thing I've noticed with you is you've made some changes lately.
Yes.
Still nervous about those?
I mean, this is a big change. This house is in New Hampshire. So we moved last year to New Hampshire. Is that what you're talking about?
No, no, I could have sworn. Hold on a second here. Let's take a look. Maybe I'm talking about the wrong thing here.
I mean, I didn't color my hair, so now it's this like silvery color.
Give me a second here. Yeah, hold on a second. Maybe I'll screw this up here. Yeah, I did screw this up. Never mind.
That's okay. I'm like, changes. Well, I moved. I bought my in-laws' house. I live with my in-laws. That's the big change.
Oh, not bad. Never mind. Okay. So no, it's all good. So it's all good. No, so I guess we'll go from this point because I was assuming. Okay. No. Oh wow. No, I screwed up. It happened. I screwed up. It happened. No, what I guess I'm wondering is, so you've done television, you've done all this other wonderful fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Kind of gone. This is kind of like a full circle thing for you then, going back and hosting. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. Having it on Saturday nights is kind of rough because I work full time during the week. So Saturday nights, especially during the summer when we're up at our place in Maine, is company night, around the fire, drinking. so to stop and do the show is kind of awkward sometimes when we have friends over.
How you doing? I'm feeling really good tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to do the show.
Sometimes dances outside the window. just to
I just think you'd make Katie and Jay jealous just simply because no matter what, like you could literally show up in like a Hawaiian shirt and like have some drinks in your hands, like sup. What happened? Yep. It's a party today. It's my weekend.
Yep. Well, I'm relaxed. And
that's right. That's the word for the day, folks.
I'm old.
I'm relaxed.
I'm old.
I'm always like, oh no, what am I saying there?
I have no filter.
I like that. I like that.
For the
I mean,
most part, I have no filter. So
there is something completely comforting about truly not giving a shit in like the best possible way. I'm not talking like I don't care. Like no, I'm talking like you know what? I'm me. I'm happy with who I am. If you don't like it, meh. I don't really care. I mean, I'm just going to do me. I'm here
I'm
to
who I
be.
am. Yeah,
That's
like it
right.
or not, you know. It's just like with writing and reviewers and stuff. I mean, in the beginning, when I first got the first bad review, it hurt. It
Of
stung
course,
just a
it.
tad, just a
It still does.
tad.
It
But
always does.
well, actually, I don't really care. I will read it to see if there's anything valid in it, in any of the reviews, but it doesn't affect me personally.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I write because I love writing. I love telling stories. So if you like it, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. Try something else by me, or try something else, and
By somebody
you
else.
you
Yeah.
do you, you do you. It's and
That's great,
I
man.
think I'm very rare with that quality as a writer.
Actually, rare as a person, to be very, very, very honest. I think, see, a lot of people go for that kind of freedom, right? I'm going to do what the fuck I want. We were talking about this earlier. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing what the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I understand where you're coming from. I wish I
Yep.
could do, I wish I was that free myself. But it's like, we have priorities in our lives. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, like you realize what I realized probably a lot longer than I did. It took me a lot longer to get there than you. Um, People just do what they want, and the truth of
Mm-hmm.
the matter, and the absolute truth of the matter is, no matter how much we want to say it, people are just going to be themselves,
Right.
right? So
They
you
should
might,
be. They
yeah,
should be allowed to be.
yeah, no, that's it. Like that's at the end of the day, that's everybody. Right? When we live in a world where that is not possible, that's a dangerous world.
Yes.
Right? That is a very dangerous world to live in. That is a world that cannot last because simply put, we are not machines to be
Right.
made in that right. We are people. And that is a very important, I think one of the more important things about life, right, is everybody's themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta let everybody be themselves and you gotta give them the freedom to do it. And that's because if you don't have that,
Yeah.
there is nothing in this world worth living for, because
Right.
that's right. You just don't, because then you own nothing and you are nothing, because nothing you do truly matters. If you're free, if you're free to be yourself, if you're free to find yourself in a world, well, then everything matters, because now you can just, now everything is a journey. Every day is a journey of discovery,
And
right?
if you learn to love yourself,
Mm-hmm.
accepting and loving others is a snap for
Mm-hmm.
for for any reason.
Mm-hmm.
If you're unhappy with yourself, it reflects into the world.
Absolutely.
You know.
It takes a lot. It took me 5 years ago. I came to like this revelation about
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago. I came to this revelation that um, people, when just do what they want to do, and and that's on every level. How people treat them, how people like we again. People are themselves, and people are going to be whatever. They're going to try to get away with whatever. But the truth of the matter is, right? The world, by and large, is what we want it to be, good or bad. That's the
Mm-hmm.
truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it's one of those situations where that's probably one of the hardest things for people to accept, because
Mm-hmm.
we don't want the world to be. Yeah, we do, and the reason why, and the reason I say that in I say that in like that way is, more often, I think in this world, the honest, sad truth about this world for most people is, most people aren't I'm going to be boarded. I'm going to get boarded. We're going to get
Uh-oh.
boarded with that stuff. But but
Okay.
the one thing I was going to say, is most people aren't happy with themselves. I think we're taught at a very young age that intelligence discerns difference. And whatever that ideal of perfection or normal that we have built in ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? When we don't fit that mold, especially when we're younger, that's all we see.
Right.
When we get older, when we get bigger and wiser and better, somewhat, some way, somehow, we recognize the fact. I think this is one of the beautiful things about writing
Mm-hmm.
is these flaws, these imperfections, these this, these that, they make us us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
that's what we truly bring to a story. We don't bring I can come up with a wonderful plot. But the truth of the matter is the plot's nothing without my voice.
Right. Exactly. It's just a flat piece of paper with nothing on it, no depth,
Yeah.
without voice, without,
Yeah.
something for people to connect with.
So oh, that's okay. That's okay, Stable. They can fall into the sea. I mean, I'll be here tomorrow. You can try to board them again. I still got lots of cool guests, and I think and this is still a good conversation. So, but what I was going to say, what I was. Oh, never mind. I got boarded. I got boarded. But but the thing is, like everybody that I think for the most part, I think one of the things I realized about the world, and it took me a long time to realize this, the world tries by its very design, and I'm not talking like the earth, I'm talking just the society we build in. It's a construct, and this
Mm-hmm.
construct presents ideals, and these ideals are things we cannot live up to. It doesn't matter who you are, we just can't do it. And the idea is those inadequacies allow for the injustices in the world to live. It's the only way they can live.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody loved each other, if everybody could see each other as just people that are worth something,
Mm-hmm.
then suddenly, if I'm worth something and you're worth something, then we wouldn't let anything bad happen to each other.
Right.
We make sure that the the poor are taken care of. We make sure we were educated. We make sure people were fed.
Yeah.
Simple kindnesses would be a lot more common,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's a hard lesson. The world is as we want it to be, and something you just said is something that you said very profound. Is people that are mean outwardly there's things inside that they're not at peace with.
Right. Right. Because it's all a reflection of you.
Yeah.
What
So
you bring to the table is all a reflection of you. I had the benefit of parents that I knew loved me and I knew supported me, even, in some of my crazier adventures.
yes,
Yeah. But
yes.
I had that benefit. You know, Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that benefit. So,
No.
and for my kids, I've instilled the same confidence in themselves. Hopefully, they both say so, but one's a business
Well,
owner herself, and one is an author too. So
it's. I think here's the thing. Like all of us have to have we all have to go through our little crucibles in life,
right, right. Oh
and
yeah, I went through some outwardly things that wasn't from family.
no, like again,
Mhm.
our own like whatever our crucibles are, like we all have
Mhm.
different trials in our lives. I think
Mhm.
so. My like the whole saying, pressure creates diamonds or dust, right? I
Mhm.
think there are points in our lives where it makes us dust, and then later on, those same things turn us to diamonds. I think the one cool thing about this life is that there's always a reset, and there's almost always a second chance.
Yes.
Right? Almost always. Sometimes we're thrown into a situation like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Right? Sometimes.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then sometimes we come back it's like, hey, wait a minute. I know what I'm doing here. Somewhat,
Mhm.
somehow, some way. And it's a cool thing. We learn and we grow. But I think there's for all of us, I think life's also about filtering out but what matters to us. Because the thing I realize about life in general is, we are constantly making choices about what we value.
Right.
And we do it through our actions and through our words, our actions especially. And I think one of the biggest things I think most of us don't realize is, again, I said this, we all do exactly what we want. But the real question is, are we aware of what wants we are serving when we make our choices? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and sometimes sacrifices are made for significant others or for children or for whatever. But at the bottom line, you're right. It's because we want something, maybe not for ourselves, but for somebody else.
Absolutely. No, like, again, everybody values things differently. It's like when I say that, like, wants aren't really, yeah. And for everybody, that's a different answer. And that's, I think, a great thing because everybody sees things differently. But it's one of those situations where you have to look at it and kind of be very honest about, like, what's going on and where the situation lies. I feel like once you're honest there, then you can really make the decision of what your life's about. Like, what am I gonna do? And whether that's here or whether it's talking about the stories and you're telling, like, because now you have a clarity that you wouldn't have had if you were at peace or weren't at war with yourself.
Right, exactly. I mean, my characters tend to be much more confident. There's a couple that I've written that aren't quite, but I think that comes because it's part of me. You know, I don't know if I could write a helpless damsel in distress. I don't know if that's possible for me to even grasp and write, because I don't think in real life people should be truly helpless. I mean, there's helpless situations, but
well, see, here's my thinking. This is my theory about this more than anything else. I don't think you can respect it.
Yeah.
That see, I
learned you hit it right on the nose.
Right. I learned something a long time ago with me writing, is that I can hate a character. I can like a character. I prefer characters I like over characters I hate. Don't get me wrong. But if I hate you, that's still fine. I have to respect you. If I lose respect for that character, I can't write them anymore. I just can't. It's like, right? I have a noir novel, and that it's a similar thing like that. It was a helplessness thing. There's a certain feeling of helplessness. He needs that for his conflict to grow.
Right.
But I think I went too far because I went to the point where it's like, I can't respect you. I know what? Because the tendency is when you get really mad at a character, you want to slap them hard, and you do it, and then you realize the response is they're just going to take it. And you're just going to so you do it again. Still not enough. You're like, okay. And then you just walk. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah, I broke a character in one of my books, and before it was even published. Okay, I completely broke the character, and I had my husband read it, and he came in and he said, "You can't end a book like this. You cannot do that. That's not fair to the reader. That's not fair." And I was like, and I changed it, and I sat, well, not immediately, but I sat and I read it and I thought about it, and then I put myself in the reader's place, and I was like, yeah, that's not really the satisfying ending they need. So I did change it, but I have never seen him angry at me about writing a book before. He was just like shaking it. Not a happy man. But it's like, okay. But I mean, he's never really commented on most of the rest of them. But that one, oh my God.
See, I would be so tempted just to keep it because of that reaction. It's like so tempted. When
Yeah,
he's right,
well,
he's right.
yeah,
But
he was very right, and the way I ended it didn't completely break my character. So
but when
that
you wrote
I
it,
think
like when you wrote it, did it feel good? Did it actually feel good to do it?
um mm, it was a really tough scene and a really tough thing, and it was just like, okay, it could go that way or it could go this way, and I went the wrong way.
Okay, so let me ask this then:
Yes.
did you cheat?
Did I cheat?
Sometimes you know how a story's supposed to go,
Mm,
and especially early drafts. I think this is a discipline thing for me
mm.
personally. There is a tendency sometimes to cheat a little bit. Not that I'll
No,
write that line later, but
no.
no.
This went. I went all out violent. Okay, I went all out violent. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, and there was no real coming back from it in a way that would work in the next book anyway.
Oh wow.
Without, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it was, and the way he reacted, and when I finally sat down and talked to him afterwards, and Doug, he's like, these are the things. First of all, this was stupid. He went on and on. First of all, this was a stupid act. And it was my FBI series, so he was like, they wouldn't have done that. There's no way he would have done that. I'm like, okay.
So
And then I
so
thought about it, and I talked to some police officers and got feedback, and he was right. There was no way they would have done that.
sure. Like
Yeah,
sometimes that is the way it goes, right? I
like
mean, you
no
have
way he would have put the gun down. No
yeah.
way.
Yeah,
So
no, no, and I mean it's an
mhm,
honest, it's an honestly good like. So I did my first draft of the book I'm actually
right.
illustrating as on
Hmm.
top of writing. I'm
Hmm.
like, I think I cheated at the end. I think I did too much of a cop. I made it too easy.
Yeah.
Almost universally, everybody agreed with that assessment. And it's like, okay,
Okay.
yeah, right, and it's like one of those things where it's just like, so when I do the
Hmm.
next, I'm writing my Alice in Wonderland sequel right now.
Hmm.
So when that's done, I
Hmm.
go back to that and I fix
Okay.
the pieces of that draft so it's a lot stronger. And then I start drawing it. That terrifies me a little bit, actually.
Hmm.
Right. I never thought I'd be that person. So I mean, everybody like I took the opportunity of the pandemic to expand myself into like drawing. What
Yeah.
did so did you learn? Did you take the opportunity to actually learn something new?
I was working.
Ah,
I worked through it all because I worked remotely, and now I'm full-time remote anyway because I'm in New Hampshire and my job is in Springfield, Massachusetts. So it's not gonna, there's no commuting from the White Mountains to Springfield.
I think the coolest thing. This is the one cool thing about
Mhm.
the remote setting at this
Yeah.
point. It's the fact that I mean, I'm a thinking person.
Hmm.
You know, if I just all I gotta do is show up on time to work remotely, I could like live in Hawaii.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that maybe it's affordable depending on the job, but
I
it's just like
I live in New Hampshire and I live in Maine, at the beach in Maine during the
yeah,
summers. So today I'm in New Hampshire. This is our laundry day, so I'm here.
yeah, it's like boo.
So yeah, but yeah, you can pretty much work everywhere. I mean,
That's the cool thing about
before the
remote.
pandemic really started, we were down in Charleston visiting my folks for 2 weeks, and we were both working.
Yeah,
Take a
no,
day off to fly. That's it.
well, no, I think I think the cool thing about a remote job, it's just the fact that you can do that and
Mm-hmm.
like and like really think about where you want to live and where you want to go. I'm actually so the other thing in case that opportunity doesn't pan out, I'm
Mm-hmm.
quietly working on getting kind of like some film stuff back up because one of the things I was going to do before films, I was going to work in the on movie sets.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, so I'm working.
You would like this then. I got this today. This is the Supernatural 15-year, 15 years, and it's all the sets and all the things that they've done through 15 years. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm a Supernatural nerd. So
okay.
But I mean, I got that like sets, and I'm like looking at them, like, oh my god, look at all the details that they put into this.
Cool thing about
just amazing.
Yeah. So AF Studio asked, where'd you get that?
They had it on one of the Supernatural sites that I think it was a limited run. And I was like, oh, I saw it. I got it. Like, okay. And it finally came like 6 months later.
3 cheers. Let's do 3 cheers for Colonel Nuggets. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. There you go. Yes.
Supernatural.
Yeah. So, no, we all got our things. Like Supernatural was not my thing. Like, I'm a comic book nerd. Like, seriously, okay. My nerdom of choice is Green Lantern.
Okay.
Not the movie.
Oh, I know the comic.
Yeah.
The comic book.
No, just the movie makes me sad. Just makes me sad. But no, like we all have. I think one of the cool things about like people in general is that we all obsess over stuff, and it's always need to find out.
That's my obsession.
Supernatural?
Yeah.
So what was it? What was it drew you to Supernatural?
It reminded me of the old there used to be an old show that my father and I used to watch when I was a kid, with a supernatural detective on television. And when I first saw Supernatural, it was like that campy horror type stuff, and I love that. And then it got into the boys and family, and that's pretty much what it was, the baseline of the show. But I just liked the story arc.
Yeah. Oh,
well, plus the actors were really easy on the eyes. Okay. I'll be honest.
Listen. It's all good. I mean, look, it's all good. Yep. I appreciate honesty. I actually find when you're honest like that, you get away with a lot more shit. I speak with someone that talks to women. It's like you actually go up to one, you go, "You're hot," and you actually are very honest and authentic about it. Get away with a lot more than you're trying to be that shy bastard. I think you're cute.
Yeah,
they're bothered by that. But it's like you go, "You're hot," and you can just talk. They'll let you They'll let you say almost anything. Almost.
Well, I met Jeffrey Dean Morgan at a Comic-Con that my son and I went to, and my son was there, and I think my son was 18 at the time, and this was, I don't know, he was 17. So I was like, yeah, we used to watch Supernatural together ever since the beginning. And then I looked at my son. I said, yeah, he was like 4, maybe not the brightest mom moment, but he enjoyed it with me. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan laughed. He was dying.
Yeah, it's honest. It's honest, right?
Mom moment having a 4-year-old watch Supernatural with me. But
what's he gonna say? Like what you said to me. It's like what you said to me earlier. Just like you were so honest about it. It's like I don't know what to do.
Yep. And my son and I are close. So I mean, we wrote a series together. We wrote this together, the Death Chronicles. Yeah.
So just a curiosity. Like how old was your son when you wrote that?
He was 12 when he told me the story idea.
Ooh.
And we went for a 2-hour walk. So yeah, that was about the time Death was on Supernatural. It's about the son of Death, and he was telling me the story. He goes, he talked about it. We walked like 3 or 4 miles and then walked back, and at the end he goes, "Do you think you want to write that with me?" And I'm like, absolutely. And he looked at me. I said, it's a really good story idea. I mean, he had the whole arc of it too. So we wrote the first book together. Well, I wrote, he sat, and I asked him questions when I got to certain scenes I wanted his input on.
I was gonna ask you about that. So I have a personal reading recommendation for you because I think you get a kick out of it. It is a comic, but not that different from your premise. It's called Axe Cop.
Okay.
Here's the premise. Okay, world-class illustrator, 5-year-old kid brother.
Yeah.
He draws with the kid brother imagines. Glorious. It is like so glorious because you ignore some of the traditional story elements of it, but there's just that, because the cool thing about like a kid, this is the one thing about the cool thing about kids, they're they're
unfiltered.
They're unfiltered, right?
Yes.
You're oddly unfiltered yourself, and I dig that. I actually, I'm gonna give you a very nice compliment before we wrap the show up about that. But the reason I bring that up is like when you're doing a series with a kid, like a child or a kid's story. I think one of the biggest challenges as an adult writer is recognizing that that voice might be even more important than yours is, right? The first book, although you probably wrote it's probably the one with maybe the most of your voice in there. You probably tried, your struggle with that was probably to keep his voice in there as much.
Oh yeah. Well, it was hysterical. There's a scene that he directed me to write, that that the boy in the book kisses his girlfriend. I said, well, what did that feel like? And he looked at me. I was like, have you kissed a girl? I mean, he's like, yeah. Of course. I'm like, what did it feel like? Tell me the physical sensations, because I'm teaching him how to write too, not just this happened, that happened. So I'm trying to get him to get into the emotional state and the descriptions and stuff. And he told me, he goes, well, it kind of felt like you're on a roller coaster and you go down and your stomach's still up at the top. So it was a great description, and I used, I polished it and used it. And I said, okay, what did her hair smell like? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I don't go around smelling girls' hairs. And I said, well, maybe you should. And he just looked at me and I said, no, don't do that. I said, what do you think it should smell like? And he thought, and he goes, maybe that strawberry shampoo. I'm like, that's a good thing. I'm like, okay, so let's go there. So, I had him doing the feelings, the visuals, the sensations of smell, at all the different levels, what were you listening to? What did it sound like? Things like that. And I know he's just like, he was mortified to talk about this with his mother. But but I'm like, and then I explained to him, I said, when you write, you've got to get to the depth of things. You can't just flush the top. And so, he's gotten to be a pretty damn good writer on his own right. He hasn't finished anything yet that I am aware of.
But
he's 21. He's 21. So, and he has 2 more courses in college to get through, and he has a full-time job at the same company that we work for. So, so he got that this year. So that was a nice little foot in the door.
Nice.
Yep. So.
I wrote my first novel as a teenager. I still have it and I read it and it's I cringe just.
Yeah, I started this in college and it was called Mirror Lake. And I got part of the way through it. And then when I was 43 and picked up writing again, I picked that up and I said, this has a good base story, but it needs some polishing. So, yeah.
Did you have one of those moments where you look back? Because I still have a couple where I look back, it's like, you were brilliant here. I'm not going to say it was like the rest of this was cringy, but this part here was good. Like, this part was really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, I have y- yeah, there was a couple things, but the rest of it was like, no, no.
Yeah.
this is this is a teenage mind. I have another story that I actually wrote in eighth grade, that I got accolades for from school, that I morphed and redid. Um, and it's an erotica story. So of course an eighth grader didn't write that part, but the
I
baseline
hope
of the
not. Anyway,
story,
geez.
right? Right, exactly.
Yeah.
um, but that one wasn't too bad. That one wasn't too bad, but it was very juvenile when I went back and read it
Is this juvenile erotica? I'm sorry.
no.
No. Oh, it's not
No,
juvenile at
no,
all. Okay.
no. She's 18 or 19, I
Okay.
think, in
Yeah.
college
So
or whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, new adult.
Yeah.
Let's call it new adult. But no. I took it from a younger and moved it up.
That's what it's like. Again.
Yes.
Gotcha. No,
So,
I just, it just yeah. No, it's one of those like looking back, going forward kind of things. Like just mentioning your son. It's like the hardest part, I think, when you start writing is you've got to teach yourself how to finish a story,
yes.
because that's the hard part. It's not the idea is great and wonderful and boom, and then there's a point in the middle of the book where it's like, now what do I do?
Yep, exactly. This lost its shininess. I need to go over here where something else is shiny. Yeah, pretty much. and it's hard to train your brain to say no. Finish this shiny thing before you can go to that one.
I cheat just a little bit because I do the podcast and I also draw stuff too, so I can go, okay, listen, new car smell over here. Draw this.
Yep.
Right. Or hey, listen, you're talking to somebody that's new and shiny and wonderful, and you can do that. But when this is over, I have a Griffin who thinks it's a Sphinx in my Alice in Wonderland story, right? And so I gotta tell that story out tonight and try to get that done. So
Yeah.
then I go to the night/day job and try to stay awake doing that, and then tomorrow I repeat. That's it. But
Yep.
discipline is the
Dinosaur on our back.
it is.
Basically. I mean, I have a full-time 40+ hour job. I raised two kids, and up until this point, I mean, I've got 61 books out, and I started at 43. And my oldest was 8. Yeah, 8, and my youngest was 3 when I started writing.
So for those of you that missed it at the very beginning, for the first 10 minutes was she actually went from I don't know how a television to saying that she's old. And I had no idea how to respond to that because I was really worried about the consequences of me responding to this. I didn't know Jane as well as I did now, right? As well as I did now, right? And she goes to me, I have a dark side, but I won't use it. See, here's the thing. She raised 2 kids. She has written 60+ books. I'm terrified to ask this a little bit, but I wanted to do this. How old are you?
I will be 55. I'm 56. 56 on July 5th.
So in 13 years, she wrote 60 books and she raised kids.
Yes.
That's a tough woman, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very, very tough woman. I am not. So, am I a little intimidated?
Everybody is, but I'm like, it's just me. I write fast. I read fast.
No. No. It's not that you write fast or that you read fast. Honestly, that's again going back to what we were saying about finishing something. Truly, what's impressive about you? Okay, this is the impressive thing. Somehow, some way, you have balanced a full-time job, kids. I'm assuming some form of social life is still in there somewhere, right? Right? And you have finished 60 books and you have released them into the world, right? That's amazing. That's not like I'm read fast. I write. No, fuck that. I don't care about that. The fact that you did 60 books, that's impressive as all hell.
Thank you.
You're right. That's impressive as all hell. And
I'm not very good at compliments.
yeah, most people aren't. Right. And on top of that, you're very comfortable with who you are. You're happy with what you're doing in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a little scared of you. You got your shit together, right? Right.
156. I should.
But I say that like honestly, like it's just that's like, yeah. I don't want to piss you off. You got your shit together. I mean, you'll make sure I'm there. You'll make sure,
Well,
right?
I'm only 4'10", so I'm not really intimidated person. I'd have to look up at everybody. But
Actually, I'll let you in on a fun story here. So I interviewed an actress by the name of Alicia Bear. She's like you, very very small, like physical size. She carries herself like a giant, though.
That's
right?
my daughter. That's
Yeah.
my daughter. My daughter's a wedding planner.
Yeah, table rate. No,
this structured thing right down.
so I'm willing to see. This is just a bet, a personal little bet. I would have to ask your daughter to verify this, but a lot of where she probably got that from is you. Probably. No.
Okay, a little bit of me, a little bit of my husband. So
no, your husband has to be put together pretty good too, because it's the only way he'd be able to keep up with you. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only way. But I bring all this up, like, and I say this in the high, like, as a high compliment. Like, that is an incredible resume to be proud of. I'm going to ask this. I mean, the only thing I can possibly bring up here is, how's your marketing game? Because it's like, I only bring this up because, I mean, that's a sheer quantity.
That's the part that suffers, because something has to give in this packed life.
So may I make a humble suggestion then?
Absolutely.
Approach your marketing like you approach a novel. Tell a story. Like, marketing, when you really break it right down, is really, this is the thing. When we write a novel, it's like, this is a story. I'm trying to create a hallucinatory experience for my readers that they will empathize with when it's over. That works with marketing. That is marketing too. Here's the difference, okay? When you write a story, it's about creating a relationship with that book and those characters. When you market, it's about creating that relationship with you. Yeah. Right? That's the difference. It's the only actual difference. You're coming out there and here's the thing, and I'm going to give you another compliment. 61 books. That's really fucking impressive. But you know what? You're proud of all of them, aren't you?
Some more than others. I do have my favorites.
Everybody does. Yeah. Right? Everybody does. But when you come right down to it, you worked your ass off on all of them, right?
Yeah, I did.
So you worked your ass off. If you didn't believe in your stuff, you never would have done it, right?
Right.
So
I just don't find the time. I mean, I do like Amazon ads and stuff like that, and things like that. I'm really good at the short blurbs. It's just taking the time out of writing to do the marketing gigs.
How many books you release a year?
4 to 5.
Okay. So then this is just me. I'm offering you a friendly challenge, because I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing actually for this year when I get my books ready to go. I'm actually quietly starting to mark Alice 1, my sequel to Alice 0, and I will do that at the end of this episode too. here's the thing. It would be worth it to you to take one of those books, those 4 or 5 you're working on, take one of those books, move it to next year. Still work on it, but move it till next year. And make that one section just about marketing yourself. I bring this up only to say this. As much as you have it together and all those things you do that are completely and totally awesome, someone that's put as much work out as you do deserves more readers. Taking a book away or slowing one book down to give you, again, it's just don't look at it as trying to sell. Look at it trying like this. I want to build a better relationship with my readers. How do I do that? And taking that and do what you do best. Tell a story. That's what brought your readers to you to begin with. Figure out that story you want to tell. Figure out that platform you want to tell it in, and tell that platform. And let people see who you are. Because here's the thing. If you notice with the show, they haven't really asked you a ton of questions.
No, we just chatted.
But I've learned so much about you in this time. And anyone that's just come and joined us, watch the first 10 minutes. It's worth it.
It's hilarious.
It's worth it. And I bring this all up to say, the one question you'll never hear me ask is, where do you get your ideas from? Because I already know the answer to that, just having this conversation with you.
Right, from life, from nightmares, from everything. Yes, that's a cookie cutter question, though.
It's
not a cookie cutter show. It's great.
It's a cookie cutter question. But the thing, and I never asked that for some other reason too. I already have an idea what kind of books you're going to write because I got a sense of who you are as a person. Here. All right, there's going to be your characters are going to be confident badasses that are dealing with interesting problems, right? Or at least interesting to you, right? And going out and doing things, whether you're reading supernatural thriller, erotica, or whatever, everything else you've done. At 61 books, you probably have dabbled a little bit into everything because you're right. And so so at that point, but the thing that they all have in common is you. If I can like the person, if I can establish a connection with the person, I will find work of yours to support.
That's true. Absolutely true. Across the board.
Now you understand the secret to my show, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's so. I just want to say straight up. I had a blast with this episode. It was great.
I'm glad. It's fun.
Did you have fun?
I had a blast. I had a lot of fun, and I have a 2-hour ride just to sleep now. Yes,
yeah. So before we disappear, so I guess before we get to the wonderful thing about the promos, like what's coming up for you, or what just came out? Because which is closer?
Yes. I was going to release it this week, but then I realized the 21st is Amazon Prime Day. So I moved it up to the 15th, and I released Dragon Tempest, which is a urban fantasy about a badass female who was sent to negotiate for humankind with the monsters. So it's a post-apocalyptic urban fantasy.
So I'm letting everybody know. It's like, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. I will have another guest coming on to the show tomorrow. I booked my show pretty hardcore for the next few weeks, so
that's good.
I'm more welcome. And some shows will go longer than others. I just get the feeling that this one in particular, it's like we've had our fun. But before I wrap up, how can people find you? How can people see how can people
I'm across the board on all the I'm not Amazon only. I went wide in April, so I took a little hit to some of my sales, but I'm trying to get my platforms back up. So iTunes, Kobo, Barnes and Noble, Google Play, Amazon. I'm missing something. Oh. I think I'm like, oh well, but I'm out there, and it's J.E. Taylor. So let's see. I'll put up my name so people can see it. Whoops.
You have a website?
There. Yes, I do. www.jetaylor75.com.
Why 75?
Because July 5th.
Oh, yeah.
You can find me on Amazon. I'm on Facebook under Jane E. Taylor. I'm on Twitter. Where else? LinkedIn.
Also, I'm going to make a mention. She also hosts this great show called Spilling Ink Saturday nights at 8
Yes.
o'clock.
Yes.
I dare her to show up in a Hawaiian shirt with a pina colada just to make Katie and Jay jealous.
Well, I can't have a pina colada because I'm allergic to coconut, but I can have something. I have to find a Hawaiian shirt that fits.
Okay, so small little bonus. It doesn't have to be a Hawaiian shirt. It has to feel like you're like in a park. You know what? Wear like shades, like those obnoxious shades people do when they smoke too much dope, right?
Okay.
Right, where to smoke too much dope, and then on top of that, I don't know, like what's laid back, like what's super laid back for you, like whatever's super, whatever's.
Yeah, I wear. Well, I have the Supernatural shirt that I've worn before, or my Love More shirt. Or More Love. I don't know which one it says.
Just do that. Like, bring a drink. Like, bring hey, listen, I'm going on the show. Hey, listen, hey, let's just plot this right now. I'm coming on Spilling Ink on July 10th.
Ooh,
right.
Okay.
So I'm there.
I'm not there that day.
Oh.
That's the one day I'm off with family off site.
She votes the Supernatural shirt. So okay. So
yeah.
This is what we'll do. So we'll do it like a week before. You show up. You bring like something obnoxious.
I'll bring like a strawberry daiquiri with.
Yeah. You something obnoxious, and I'll show up the next day. I'll bring like a leather jacket out, and I'll be like same like similar obnoxious shades, and I'll bring like a giant thing of like rum and coke, and just be like, let's go. And then like Katie, and then Katie goes, what happens? Like, shout out to my drinking buddy Jane from New Hampshire.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And the best part is, other than AF Stewart, like nobody from that crew's gonna know what the hell you're doing. So what we're doing, it's like, man, it's like, you should like do like a shout out to my drinking buddy Josh. You should do that like the week before. Right. It's like my Canadian drinking buddy. Right.
I can wear my Canada shirt because I got one with a Canadian
leaf on it. That would be awesome.
I got it on the same trip as this one. This is from Ketchikan. Sorry. The moose. Ketchikan moose. But yeah. The Canada shirt with a
whatever. They'll know I played a mean, dirty drink. It's like, what happens? Like, well, like she told me and I'll tell her, like, she told me on an interview, like, sometimes she's got friends drinking at her house when she's hosting the show. I told her she should just embrace the party vibe because she's already there anyway. Instead of coming out of it, just don't fight the vibe. Go with it. Just be a little like, you just tone it back slightly and just stay chill, right? So why are you wearing the obnoxious shade? Just because it's because we're early partying out here, man.
I have to find obnoxious shades. These are if it was sunlight, these would be dark.
Put glitter on them or something like that. Put something. Oh wait, don't do that because glitter stays forever. Glitter.
I'm not a glitter. I'm not a glitter girl. I'm a moose. Get the cat moose girl.
All right. So yeah, that's great. We started not knowing what we were doing, and now we're talking about like completely trashing another show. This is a fantastic way to end the episode. Yeah.
Maybe I'll pop on that 10th if I get a chance. I'll do it from my phone just for.
Yeah, great.
But I might be able to.
Moose. That's right, Sable. Moose. Like I said,
Yes.
like I said, this show is completely gone. This is completely gone the river. Gone down the whole. So for everybody coming up, so the next 2 days, 7 p.m. tomorrow night, I have Leland Bjorg. He's a comic book writer. He's a buddy of mine. He's one of my I quietly do a write club on Sundays, and Leland and a friend of mine from Kelowna are part of that. And he's going to be showing up tomorrow. Friday, just to give you ideas, is going to be Lola Grant, comic book writer, Kickstarter, crowdfunding, very cool stuff there. And then next week is the week after is super killer. I will do an announcement on that next week. So for everybody watching, listening, thank you guys for coming on to my show.
Thank you.
It was wonderful seeing you all, and thanks for the interactions. Follow my channel, twitch.tv/justjoshingpodcast. Tell people about it. My YouTube channel is Joshua Pantellaresco. Hit the like and subscribe there if you haven't already. Alice Zero, my last release, is a nominee for the Elgin Award. The sequel, Alice 1, comes out November 1st. See, there's the marketing right there. See, you built it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. But I'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thanks, Sable, for coming. Thanks, everybody else, for coming. I'm back tomorrow. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, Josh.